An extremely popular topic in the whole of IELTS speaking is family, but it's also quite likely that you could get a task to cue card on the topic of family. So it will be useful to take a look at a couple of examples of these cue card types, take a look at a really great model answer and have a look at some really focused language around this topic. So let's take a look at our first cue card. Describe the person in your family who you most admire. You should say who this person is, what your relationship is, what they do now, and explain why you admire them so much. So it's not just discussing your family in general, it's describing one person who you most admire. And you need to say who they are, what your relationship is. Are they in your extended family, so not your mum, dad, brother or sister? Or is it someone like your father or mother who you admire the most? You also need to say what they do, whether it's working or something else. And also explain why you admire them so much. And I might go into some other details as well. Okay, let's take a look at this model answer. Firstly, I'd like to say I hope they don't ever hear my answer. The reason I say this is because all my extended family will probably hope I say I admire them the most. It is a tough decision, but after giving it some real thought, I'd probably say my grandmother is the person I look up to most. She's such an approachable person and has always been there for me when times were hard. I mean to say, all my family are very close, but my grandma really tried her best to always look after me. We are quite a close-knit family and often spend evenings and weekends together. When I was an adolescent, both my mum and dad had to work most days a week. That meant it was up to my grandma to take care of me, and she did an amazing job doing that. Before she retired, she was a cook, so we always had such amazing foods. I can't really remember her working. I think I was too young, but I distinctly remember the amazing meals we would have together. We'd spend hours in the kitchen together, making foods and telling jokes. Her food was always better than mine though. It still is. We grew very close and still see each other most days now. It's fair to say I love my grandma. Right, let's take a look at some of the really great language in this model answer. Okay, we will begin with this time opener. Firstly, this is a really great opener that you can use to begin speaking. Firstly, it shows the examiner you have an understanding of what language to use to begin your speaking. And here we have some topic-specific vocabulary. Extended family. So your immediate family is really your dad, mum, and brothers or sisters. Your extended family is your uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews. So extended family. Here we have this bit of vocabulary, a phrase, tough decision, a very common collocation. If something, it's difficult to decide, you can say it is or it was a tough decision. And here, another very native phrase, giving it some real thought. You don't have to say, you could just say giving it some thought. After giving it some thought, I decided I would do this. So that's a really great phrase you can use. Someone I look up to. Now, this really is a bit of an idiomatic expression, and it's not someone that you need to look up to see. Look up to simply means someone you admire. Next up, we have times were hard, or times are hard. Now, that means a time in your life or somebody's life where you are facing some difficulties. So, for example, times were hard last year. We found it difficult to get enough food, or something like that. Times were hard. Next up is some more topic-specific vocabulary. Close-knit family. If you say your family is very close-knit, it means that you talk and see each other a lot. So you see each other very often. You have a great close relationship, close-knit. And here we have adolescent. So when you are talking about yourself as a young child, let's say from 2 to around 6 or 7, we can call this adolescent. And here we have take care, a collocation, native expression, take care of somebody, so look after somebody. Here we have distinctly remember. Again, a collocation, it's a phrase that's very common with native speakers. If you remember something 100% very clearly, you can say, I distinctly remember this thing. And finally, grew close, or grew very close. You can say we grew close, which means we became, our relationship, our friendship developed into something that, was really big, really important, and we spent a lot of time together. We grew very close. Okay, so there's some great language in this answer. Again, it's probably a little bit longer than what we're looking for, as we have 2 minutes. Remember, 1 minute to plan, 2 minutes to give your answer. But it's good, even if it's a little bit long, just to concentrate on some of this language here. Okay, let's take a look at our next cue card. Describe a family celebration you remember well. You should say what the celebration was, when it happened, where the celebration took place, and explain why you remember it so well. So we're not talking about a person, we're talking about an event, a celebration. So we need to say what it was, when it happened, where it took place, and why you remembered it so well. Here is our model answer. I really do try and visit my hometown and family whenever there are celebrations or some family get together. I mean, we have a lot, which is good for me, as I love seeing all my close family members. The most memorable celebration we had was most probably my younger brother's wedding. He got married in our local community, so the whole village attended. Also, my uncles arranged the celebration after the wedding, and they really know how to throw a party. Luckily, during that week, some distant relatives were visiting us, and my brother asked them to join the party. It made the event a special day for sure. I suppose many people only get married once, so for this reason it made the event really special, and my brother and wife certainly had a memorable time. Luckily, both my mum and dad aren't too strict and let us party after the wedding. It really was so nice to reconnect with my extended family. Some of them I hadn't seen for so many years, so I took the opportunity to spend some quality time with them and enjoy an amazing time. Okay, let's take a look at our focused language from this model answer. First up, we have the piece of vocabulary hometown, which is a place you can talk about where you grew up or you were born. It's usually our childhood home, our hometown. And here is a great phrase, family get together. Get together is basically a synonym for party or celebration. So it's a family get together, a family party, a really useful phrase that you can use. Here we have close family members. Now, a close family member or close friend is someone that you have a very close and really developed bond together. So you might speak with each other a lot. You might see each other a lot. You can call these the people in your family a close family member. Up next, we have local community. So that describes a place it can be in a city where the community do things together. Whether it's a town hall or a church or whatever religious place, usually everyone gets together in a local community to do whole village or whole town activities and events. Here we have the phrase throw a party. And that basically means to organise an event or a celebration. So if someone is really good, like the uncles here, really good at throwing a party, it means that they know how to organise an event. Here we have distant relatives, which is similar to this vocabulary here, which we looked at before, extended family. Except distant relatives are people that maybe you haven't seen for some time. So it could be someone, maybe even from your immediate family. So a brother or a sister who has moved away for a very long time. It could be an uncle and auntie and nephews who have moved to another country a few years before. You would call them distant relatives, people that you really don't see very often. Here, just a collocation, a native phrase, a native expression, special day. You often see these put together to describe a celebration. And just some vocabulary, strict. If someone is strict, it means that they have very clear, often tight rules. So if your father is strict, it means that your father has a lot of rules and expects that you can follow them. Reconnect, we can use this with family members or friends. It's a person you know that you have not seen for quite some time. If you would like to speak to them again, you can say, I would like to reconnect with that person. And finally, a common collocation, which is quality time. So quality time, it is basically means to concentrate on an activity or a person. So if you spend some quality time together with a person, it means that really you're having a great conversation, you're taking care of one another. So some really useful vocabulary that you can use for family and of course for some other topics as well. See you in the next lesson.